Hi, my YouTuber babies. We gotta come up with a name. Okay, all right. Shout out to Backstage Careers for this content, and Backstage Careers put together these tips from Jordan Peterson's, and I'm going to talk about some of these tips that resonate with me. All right, let's get started. Tip number 1 is pick one path. Okay, let's listen to what Jordan Peterson has to say about it.
Very necessary for people at some point in their life to dedicate themselves to a single game of some sort, which is kind of what you're doing in university. You know, you have to become one thing at some point in your life, and the sacrifice, of course, is that you give up all the other things that you could become, but you don't really have a choice, because if you don't decide voluntarily to become one thing, you know, to become a disciplined adherent of some specific practice or profession or viewpoint, then you risk just aging chaotically, and you don't get away with not aging. So you might as well age into something that's actually something, rather than just remaining, or then just becoming an old child, which is really not a good thing. It's not a good thing to see, especially by the time people hit about 40. It's not pretty.
Pick one path. That's really hard for me, because I really love this one thing. You know, like I love anything with self-development and personal growth, right? But not as much as I love career and money. Like talking to you about career, this is the happiest that I have been like all week, because since I did the video yesterday. I love this, right? So I don't know, it's kind of hard, and I'm a Libra too, so it's like I just don't know. Number 2.
Tip number 2 is notice the work that engages you.
I think you can find what...
Okay, tip number 2 is notice the work that engages you. I love the way they say that. Not what do you have a passion for, but what is the work that engages you? Let's listen.
I think you can find what compels you and what might enable you to live in a high-quality manner despite the suffering that's associated with life. I think you can discover that, and I think part of the way you discover that is by watching yourself and learning when it is that you're meaningfully engaged. You have to notice that. It's something that happens to you in some sense rather than something that you do. You have to notice when you're meaningfully engaged. And then you have to work to expand the amount of time that you spend in that state.
Wow! Isn't he like just so fucking brilliant? So he says that you have to find, girl, because I'm smoking. What the fuck did he just say? All right, let's try this again. No, for real. Let's be serious here and let's do this. All right, I want to hear this again because I love this. All right, one more time.
It's not pretty.
Tip number 2 is notice the work that engages you.
Oh, okay, yes. Notice the work that engages you. What does that mean? Well, for me, it feels like I'm happy, it's butterflies, I'm enjoying myself, like I'm smiling, you know what I mean? I'm smiling, I feel the creativity flow in me, child, right? And I'm just like, oh, I wish I could do this all the time. How do I do it all the time? I wish I could do this all the time. So it's that kind of feeling. What makes you feel like, God, I wish I could do this all the time? That's what he's talking about. All right. Okay. Next. Oh, then he said, find a way to be in that energy as quick, as often as possible, right? So I made a separate YouTube station and still trying to shape it out, child, you know, and I love helping people with career, and I love the comments that I get here on the stuff that I do, like about the money, the field agent, Thinkific, 15 websites. When people say, oh, yes, this is really helping me, I'm downloading it right now. That is so fucking thrilling. So leave a comment, okay? All right. Okay, so let's see. Number 3 was a little difficult for me to understand.
So you need to know what your temperament is, and then you need to know the temperamental demands of the job. Now, most jobs are mastered with a combination of intelligence and conscientiousness, but the other temperamental factors play a moderating role. So, for example, extroverted people tend to be entertainer types and highly social. And so if you're interested, for example, if you're extroverted, then a career in sales is something that you might consider, or a career that involves a lot of public communication and interaction with groups. Whereas you're an introvert, you're going to want to work a lot more. You're going to be suited to work in a solitary manner a lot more.
Yeah, because see, I had worked in the newsroom at Fox TV, and I worked at KTVU, and Elaine Corral was the main anchor. And she had said something so rude to me, right? And my temperament is, I get sensitive. And I told the producer, and he was like, Nicole, we're getting ready to go live. She needed the script, and you're in here acting like a baby. So, yeah, I get it, because I was just way too sensitive to how they talk to you in the newsroom.
If you're agreeable, you're going to be suited for taking care of people. If you're disagreeable, then you're a tough bargainer and a hard negotiator, and litigators, for example, lawyers are often low in agreeableness.
Okay, I want to say something to moms out there who are watching. I'm just going to be myself, child. I was really disagreeable, and my mother hated it. So if you have a disagreeable child, it might be that your child is a litigator. Okay? Like, okay, I never thought about that. He could be, what did he say about disagreeable people? Lawyers, and what else? Let's see.
For example, lawyers are often low in agreeableness. So
yeah, lawyers. So yeah, please don't get angry at your child. They may just have a personality that God has fixed to fulfill the purpose that is on their life. I'm sure Harriet Tubman was not an agreeable child. I'm almost certain she was not, okay? Because she had a call on her life to be disagreeable, right?
So if you're conscientious, well, that tends to be a very good trait for any kind of managerial and administrative job, and for simpler jobs as well.
Now, I am not conscientious, and when I worked as an administrative assistant, I was always like so lost as an air sign. Why in the hell did an air sign try to keep up with some earth shit like an appointment and who was coming? I knew I was not good as an administrative assistant when I met Becky. Becky was the administrative assistant to another vice president, and she handled that office. Do you hear me? She could talk to 2 clients. She could tell you what to do. She could be polite, get his lunch, and answer the phone and still be in a good mood. I couldn't stand that bitch. All right, let's move on. Next tip.
Tip number 5, and also the last tip, is have high ambitions.
You have a point, you have your aim, you have your ambition, and then that's what turns the world into a potentially positive place. And here's the kicker. This is so cool. The higher the aim, the more the positive emotion. So that's you think, well, why should I bother? Why should I bother doing something lofty and difficult? It's like, because it's worth it. If you're going to make something of yourself, let's say, so that it's worthwhile to exist in the world, then you have to aim at something that's so well structured that you can say, yeah, earthquakes, cancer, death of my family, dissolution of my goals, ultimate futility of life, and the heat death of the universe. Hey, it doesn't matter, it's worth it.
That's how I feel about career and money. And that's why I love reacting to career and money. But I like relationships too, but just not on the level of career and money. Okay, so that's about it, y'all. All right, y'all. So I am going to talk to you later. I hope you enjoyed it. It was so much fun, and peace.